And now, Mr. Nwanosike, you had talked about, some days ago, you had said that, you are still the local government chairman, chairman of your local government. But as at now, where do things stand?
Leonard, man that is on the studio, for coming to join to air his view on this matter. My name is actually Dr. Nwanosike Samuel. As we speak, I'm still the executive chairman of Ikwerre Local Government by the laws made by Right Honorable Martins Amehule's led assembly, going by the judgment of Justice Somotosho that has not been repealed by any superior court and was given by Justice Somotosho, standing on Section 272 of the Constitution of Nigeria that gives the Federal High Court the authority to talk about the tenure of House of Assembly members, vacation of their seats, deputy governor, and the governor of the state. Our learned senior is aware of the laws and the jurisdiction of Justice Somotosho's ruling. And why we are worried as citizens of Rivers State is our governor swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria and to defend it, and to rule us as Rivers people with the rule of law and obedience to all court orders. But we are surprised that this judgment was given on the 24th of January, and I want to plead with you, if it's possible for your studio to please screen or roll out these orders of Justice Somotosho so that we can see the prayers that he granted. And one among those prayers is clear, that the Rivers State governor should not interfere with the activities of the Rivers House of Assembly because they are not in his whims and caprices. The Rivers State of Assembly is a creation of the law. Not like he was voted for by the people of Rivers State. They were also voted for on the same day. And so all he had was the power to pronounce the inauguration of the House, which he has exhausted. And we are surprised that people are not actually, especially our legal leaders, are quiet in what is happening in Rivers State. They are telling us to believe that the governor has the right to choose which of the court or which of the laws of court he should obey. I don't think that is democracy our forefathers envisaged in bringing our constitution. For instance, if the Justice Somotosho's ruling says clearly that not interfere in activities of the Martins Amehule's led assembly, wherever they want to sit, allow them sit, because you did not provide security to defend their complex, you allowed it to become bombs, and you destroyed it yourself. Everybody saw on national television where the governor stood in front of bulldozers and pulled down the Rivers State House of Assembly hallowed chamber. And so now, if the House of Assembly since 24th of January 2024 have seen that the governor refused to present a budget to them, and he has been spending Rivers State money, even Justice Somotosho said, you cannot present a budget of almost $1 trillion to four-man assembly that does not exist. These are four guys that when this crisis in the House of Assembly happened, Edison Ehie, the leader of the House, was impeached on that day. The other three members, Oko Jumbo, who is parading himself as an alternative speaker now, was also suspended from the House indefinitely. Good Hope Sokari, who is parading himself as a deputy, as a leader of the House now, was also suspended on that same day. The other fellow from the governor's local government was also suspended on that same day. Their suspensions have not been challenged. The House has not sat back to record them, like recently in the Senate. A senator from the North was suspended from the Senate. But the House looked at it, the Senate looked at it, and after, and forget him, he has been called back. It's a legislative procedure. The governor cannot be the governor and the legislature at the same time. So, if the governor feels that he can, through a press conference, he has provided executive order that House of Assembly to come and sit in the government house, and so he will sit down there and tell us that three-man assembly, even when Edison Ehie has withdrawn his case from court, I said, I am no more speaker. I was not speaker at the issue. I have resigned as a member of the National Assembly. I have been made chief of staff of the government. Now there are three members. You're telling Nigerians to believe that three members should pass our budget, three members should screen and swear in an attorney general, three members should bring in commissioner. This House of Assembly led by Martins Amehule is the authentic assembly by the judgment of Justice Somotosho. The judgment of Somotosho went further to say, you must conduct local government election. The judgment of Somotosho went ahead to say, you must not have caretaker. The judgment of Somotosho said that the laws made by Martins Amehule are the legitimate laws of Rivers State.
Dr. Nwanosike, if I may come in just a minute, You have talked about how the governor seemed to be cherry-picking on the laws that he wants to respect or judgment that he wants to respect. Some people will also say the same thing, that you and the local government chairman are also cherry-picking, because there is also another, high court judgment by, I think that's Dakatima Kyo, who talked about it, and that was in May, and she nullified the 6-month tenure allegation of the state's local government chairman granted by Martins Amewule, led House of Assembly. So that's also another judgment. How is it that you are not also choosing to respect that, but you are choosing that over Motosho?
Hold on. That was an interim injunction that even our leader that knows that he has a lifespan as a fair. And so, even before we talk about that, a judgment that was given by Motosho in January 24th, and the governor did not appeal it. From January to May, it comes to a state high court that has no jurisdiction to get an interim injunction to create crisis in Rivers State. I don't understand, even as a presenter, does it make sense to you? Let the level colleague tell Nigerians as a lawyer that is what he was taught in law school, that if a judgment came in January, you did not implement it, you did not obey it. Meanwhile, when that judgment came, the governor obeyed. The governor sent lists to the House of Assembly to screen commissioners. The same governor said that he will obey laws. I was inviting the House of Assembly. They were relating properly. We have no problem. So why wait till May, from January to May? All he needed to conduct local government election was a 90 days notice to share. The question is, why? But as I'm talking to you now, because he has seen that the federal government has sent have gone to Supreme Court, for Supreme Court to do that interpretation, he has quickly come to say he wants to conduct election in October, first week of October. So why all this crisis? Why orchestrate the crisis? Let's even go ahead to say, even in the same state high court, Justice Bassam gave a complete court ruling, not an interim injunction like a Kyo and a while again. He gave a ruling and said, you people have approached me that Martins Amewule and 27 others seats to be vacated because they have left their political party. But before me, you have not presented any evidence to say they have left. PDP is here in court, saying they are still their members and they are in their register. APC is in court, said we have not gotten any letter from them. We have not even seen them come to register. They are still members of PDP. Based on that, Martins Amewule is the legitimate speaker of the House of Assembly, and all laws made by him are legitimate. So where have the local government chairmen gone wrong? We are just obeying. And again, the local government law is the law arranging our activities in Rivers State. Even going by the tenor our legal leader is saying there. Don't forget, before 1999, local government chairman tenor were 4 years. It was some governors that wanted to take control of the third tier that went through their House of Assembly, mark my word, through their House of Assemblies, and amended tenors. Some states have 2 years tenor, while some states have 3 years tenor. When you do an election, the normal tenor is supposed to be 4 years. But because of their personal aggrandizement and control, they want to control Mr. President. They want to also come back and control the third tier. This is not democracy. So we are saying the Rivers House of Assembly led by Martins Amewule has set the ball rolling. And our tenor still has 5 months and 26 days running. And we are doing our best to make sure that we govern the people of our local government by the rule of law. We don't want crisis. For now, all matters are in the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt. And they have asked everybody to maintain status quo. And again, the Inspector General of Police and the CP have said all parties stay calm, cease all hostilities, don't take any step until Court of Appeal rules this matter. And that's what we heard. All of a sudden, we saw the governor and his chief of staff bring that criminals and cultists that have left Rivers State so long to come and start invading council. A chief of staff who is being fingered in burning down the House of Assembly is busy moving in 1 day with security agents attached to the governor's ADC, that led to the death of a police officer and a vigilante chairman.
Right, Dr. Nwanosike, we're very wary of allegations and speculations that we cannot substantiate, especially when it's against individuals. Just a minute, Dr. Nwanosike. I want the lawyer to respond to some of the things you have said as regards the 2 cases in court. One of them, Mr. Evans, one of them there is judgment already.
Yes.
That's the one of the local government tenure elongation.
Yes, in the Court of Appeal now.
And the other one is the one in the Court of Appeal. So there are 2 of them. One that has to do with the tenure elongation, and the other one has to do with the legitimacy of the Amewule-led State House of Assembly. I want you to respond to those 2 laws, and which one really concerns this particular matter of the local government.
Yes. Justice Omotoso judgment has to be talked about too, man. Please.
Yes, as regards to the issue under reference, we have seen that both sides, from what I have deduced from the case, that is why early enough I said that the governor was wrong to have come up with the caretaker committee. Now, the State House of Assembly members, okay, also cannot elongate and entrench themselves by virtue of the provision of law. They cannot do that. Now, on the issue of the elongation of their office, which is now a question of appeal right now, there was a judgment already that said that you cannot actually extend your office. That is constitutionally wrong to do so. And it went on appeal. That appeal is yet to be determined. Okay? It's yet to be determined.
He's also referring to another one that was in January that had talked about, not interfering in the whole local government administration until elections conducted. So
yes. The court even gave an order that the governor should, ensure that election is conducted to fill in the space, okay, after the expiration of the tenure. That was not done, and that was the undoing of the governor. Because by now, you ought to have conducted the election 3 months before the expiration.
So because I really also want us to take, in, because we really have to look at it in terms of what the law actually says, if any law has been breached. Because Dr. Nwanosike is saying, if you did not conduct elections in that period since January where, that judgment was given,
yes,
and then we are still well within our right to stay in office.
No, that would be wrong. If you look at the Constitution, the only reason the Constitution gave is when there's a time of war and you're not able to conduct elections. Then they can remain in office for a period. Okay? The State House of Assembly, led by Amaule, now amended the local government law to the effect, like a semblance of what you have in the Constitution. But the only thing now that is not there is the issue of war. I don't know what I'm saying.
I do.
So now what you have now, the State House of Assembly is now saying, for whatsoever reason, as long as you do not conduct election within the set time, the State House, the local government chairman will have to be in office for 6 months until you're able to conduct election and all that. You understand? So, but that is not the law, because the State House of Assembly itself does not have that capacity to elongate the tenure of their office. It cannot. It doesn't have the right to do so under the law. It can't do so because the Constitution in Section 7 said that you will emerge as a local government chairman by virtue of a democratic election, democratically. And what democracy means here is that it does not mean you should extend the only reason given by the Constitution, not even related to local government, but related to other offices, House of Assembly, National Assembly, and the rest of that. That's the one the Constitution reference. As for the local government, there is no time. It is stated in law that they should have an elongation. Even the National Assembly and the House of Assembly, they cannot also have an elongation except there's war, and that the government is unable to conduct election within the period. So that is where the whole thing is different. So in this case, it is wrong for the State House of Assembly to make a law to elongate, and that is why the court squashed that law and said it's not constitutionally right.
All right. So, Dr. Nwanosike, I want you to respond to the lawyer. He has said that your decision to stay in office is not backed by any law, any of the judgment, but by the decision or it was a decision or some sort of I think that was a decision from the Amewole-led assembly to elongate your tenure by 6 months, which in itself the lawyer says is an illegality. How do you respond to that?
First of all, I don't know if the law is aware that before 1999, local government administrations in Nigeria had a 4-year term.
That's correct.
Good. Now, that it was the instrumentation of the House of Assembly in Nigeria that went back because of the intention of some governors who want to use local government as an instrument to keep themselves in office, to amend the laws of those tenures, to bring them from states now, as we talk in Nigeria, have 2 years as tenure of local government chairman. Some states have 3 years as tenure of local government chairman. So going by what the law is saying, he is aware that Section 7.1 did not mention specifically how many months, how many years that is there for the tenure. It is in the wings and capacities of the House of Assembly. That is why in Zamfara State, the Zamfara State House of Assembly has extended the tenure of the local government chairman because the governor is saying, based on insecurity, I can't conduct local government election. It's there. Even in Akwa Ibom State, the House of Assembly has extended the tenures of the local government chairman by 6 months. So I think our learned leaders will address us properly, putting every ingredient together. For us,
in those cases, nobody has gone to court. Yours have been quashed.
Excuse me, sir. Let me finish. No, excuse me. You should add. An interim injunction was given by Gio because somebody was in a court, in Justice Welly's court, without joining us. They asked us to join. We joined. They left the case, parties the same, matters the same, everybody the same, and ran away and went to another state court, behind the door, without joining us, and gave an order. We now have come again through our lawyers in Court of Appeal, saying in this law that you passed, it has steps, Section 8 of the Constitution. Go to it, you will see. It's only one leg of it. We have filed a state of execution in Court of Appeal. And Court of Appeal, I think, head of, have given 7th of July and said all parties maintain status quo. Don't do anything. Let the lawyer tell us if we are illegal to remain in office. And he has agreed that the governor failed in conducting local government election and he cannot bring caretaker. Because even the case filed by the Attorney General of the Federation in the Supreme Court, it is stated there that caretaker is illegal and should not be formed in any state. And local government chairman tenure should not be tampered by governors. That is what the Attorney General, the prayers is asking for. All parties are presented and judgment have been reserved by the Supreme Court. Why will the governor create crisis in our state? By bringing criminals and thugs to invade local government council. In fact, the governor went ahead of seizing our allocation 3 months before now, even while we were in office. He withdrew our allocation and told his Attorney General to write on the back to bypass our signatories. As we speak, we worked for 3 months before even the 17th of June without a penny. That is not the democracy our founding fathers prayed for. And that's why we are commending Mr. President for taking the bold step of going the right route by going to the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Court. Let this be interpreted once and for all. And let Nigeria have true democracy of the 3 years we are asking for.
All right, so the lawyer wants to respond to some of the things you said, Mr.
Yes,
Philly.
in the 2 states he mentioned where there's an extension of the tenure of the local government, nobody had gone to court to challenge it. Okay? The court will not jump into it. In Rivers State, when the State House of Assembly did that, made that amendment, somebody went to court, okay? And that amendment was quashed. And the principle of law is this: even if you are going on appeal, the last judgment or ruling delivered is the law until the appeal is determined. Okay? So, on the basis of that, he cannot say that their tenure still runs. It's not possible to say so, because the last ruling or judgment on the issue under reference had quashed the decision of the State House of Assembly. So how would that subsist when there's a substantive ruling against it? Okay? As regards the local government tenureship and all that, the federal government is in court, which for me I consider as one of the most fortunate news of the Nigerian state today, because the governors of state have been very arbitrary with local government. I must say this. Okay? Governors of state used to wind up arbitrary, democratically elected local government tenures. They'll wind it up and bring caretaker committee legally. They will not release the funds meant for local government just because Section 162 of the Constitution made a joint account provision. And so they are not able to recognize the local government as a 3rd tier of government. They will make sure that the local government have no life of its own. And then the federal government now is in court to say that the local government must exist as an entity must have its independence and autonomy, and must, you know, function as a government, just like the state government and the federal government. We are yet to get a decision on that one. But in the interim, okay, the last decision on this Rivers State matter is that the State House of Assembly have no such right. So that is the law for now, until that particular...
All right, so I will let you respond, Dr. Nwanosike. We need to go to break. When we return, I will give you the right of reply. Let's take a break now. When we return, Standpoint continues. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Standpoint. We're still speaking with a lawyer, Mr. Evans Ofeli, and a former local government chairman of Ikwerre Local Government in Rivers State. I know he's going to argue that he's not former, but that's where we are at this moment. Thank you both, gentlemen. Dr. Samuel Nwanosike, thank you both, gentlemen, for staying with us. Now, you were going to respond to the lawyer earlier before we went on break, Dr. Nwanosike.
That there is forgiving, because he's probably speaking based on information available to him. I just stated at the beginning of this show, the last judgment that came in the State High Court was given by Justice Bassan. Justice Bassan was approached by the governor's team to try to set aside, to vacate the seats of the 27 lawmakers. They on their own approached Justice Bassan. Because before now, they were just in their beer parlor at their houses, mounting that, oh, defection, they have defected, so their seats are automatically declared vacant, without knowing that somebody needs to go to court, and court needs to make a formal pronouncement. So when it dawned on them that Section 109 is saying clearly that even if you have an issue and you don't set it in action, nothing will come out of it. So in course of doing that, Justice Bassan said, before me, I have no evidence that these men have defected to any political party. So they are still members of the House of Assembly. And all laws made by them, this is weeks after Kyo has tried to struck out that law, all laws made by them are valid for the people of Rivers State. That is why when we went to Court of Appeal that has said all parties maintain status quo, we also filed stay of execution on that Kyo's matter. It is there. That is why the Court of Appeal is saying, wait, we have had all matters, we have reserved this for judgment, we will give our judgment on it. Then, after which steps can be taken. So we are asking that on this instance now, when the House of Assembly, like everybody knows, the local government law of Rivers State is passed by Rivers State House of Assembly, and that is the law that we use to run all our activities, our day-to-day activities. In fact, it's the House of Assembly that is even our original supervisor. So when they make laws, we obey those laws. They create how we run our accounts, they create who hold offices and offices we appoint to, term of those people and what will form our activities. They also make sure that the bylaws we make, when we make them, we bring them for gazetting at the House of Assembly. So I don't know where local government chairman has made mistake obeying the laws made by Manchester Hule, with Justice Omotosho, and I find it worrying. Why whenever we talk about Justice Omotosho, lawyers don't want to ask, why did the governor not go to appeal that matter? Why is the governor running away from the rule of court during 24th of January? Why? Why is he deciding to choose to come to a court that has no jurisdiction? As pronounced by his Attorney General, who came and said the state high courts have no jurisdiction to talk about tenants of city House of Assembly members, deputy governor, and governor. He said so in his press conference. So, sir, please guide us properly, because you went to law school. We didn't go to law school.
So, Ofeli, he has raised an issue. There is a direct judgment on the tenure elongation, which is very direct, is quashed. It cannot go on. But there is another judgment, which he says one of the prayers is that of the, it's hinged on the legitimacy of the Martins Amewule-led assembly and the laws that they have made. And that the judgment is that, all laws they have made, at that moment, maintain status quo. So does that, now override the earlier judgment Kyo who has said, no, this is illegal, don't go on with the tenure elongation?
No, the truth is that the judgment from Motosho came before. Okay? Now, the judgment from Joshua Motosho legitimized the State House of Assembly, okay, the current State House of Assembly, and went further to say all laws made by them are legal, you understand, which will presuppose that, including the one for elongation of the tenure, right? That's what you're asking. If you say all, you understand?
No. There's the last one made by Justice Massam. Massam, the last one. That's the last one.
He's talking about the very recent one.
The very recent.
Yeah, the most recent by Justice Massam.
Okay,
The State High Court.
Yes, by the State High Court, fine.
That one is a ruling of court.
Yes.
Not interim injunction from Kyo. And
Yes.
interim injunction for Wale, which have lifespan of 7 days. It's a ruling of court that is in the matter